she brought up something that we do not talk about enough at work, and it's individuals or employees who have ADHD, and how can we provide reasonable accommodations for those colleagues of ours, and even ourselves if we are diagnosed with ADHD. So, Summer, could you share a little bit about with our audience what's a reasonable accommodation, where'd that come from, and we can sort of walk through that conversation within the context of this list that Julie has shared.
I think this is a great topic for our audience. And if you've been following the show, you may have heard Joey and I talking about on Consultants Corner, and maybe even the While We Were Working news segment, where we talk about making accommodations. And to kind of back up for those that aren't familiar, the ADA, or the Adults with Disabilities Act, essentially requires employers to provide what's called a reasonable accommodation to individuals with disabilities. And essentially what this means is that if you have a team member, or even a candidate who you learn has a disability, then you're required to engage in what's called officially an interactive process. And that's a series of steps where both you, the team member, and likely information from the doctor is provided to understand this individual's limitations. And then the discussion then should occur about what types of modifications might help this individual perform the job. Now, I will stop there and mention that the one thing I often hear from small businesses when we're having these conversations: that's too expensive. That's not possible. That's not going to work. Can't do it. And I have to kind of pause and say, like, let's approach this from a different angle. What are ways that we can say yes? Because there is a duty to employers to accommodate unless they can prove that it would cause an undue hardship. And I must say that in all of my years of HR, Joey, there's very few instances out of probably hundreds where I can say it would actually cause an undue hardship. It might be
Hmm.
expensive, it might be complicated, but I say, do you really want to take that risk of denying somebody with a disability? That's not a risk I'm comfortable with
And
taking.
exactly. No, me
So let's
neither.
find a way to say yes.